Imagine a time when Europe was plunged into what historians call the Dark Ages, a time of turmoil, wars, and lost knowledge. Libraries were abandoned, scientific texts were scarce, and the wisdom of ancient civilizations seemed destined to vanish. But far to the east, in the lands of the early Islamic world, something extraordinary was happening. Muslim scholars were collecting, translating, and preserving the intellectual treasures of ancient Greece. This is the story of how the flame of knowledge survived and eventually reignited Europe. From the 8th century onward, cities like Baghdad, Damascus, and Cordoba became hubs of learning. The Abbasid caliphs, particularly Harun al-Rashid and his son al-Mamun, established centers of translation and research. The most famous of these was the House of Wisdom in Baghdad, where scholars spoke Arabic, Persian, Greek, and Syriac, and worked together to translate texts on philosophy, medicine, astronomy, mathematics, and more. Greek works by Aristotle, Plato, Galen, and Hippocrates were painstakingly translated into Arabic. But it wasn't mere copying. They added commentary, improved methods, and made discoveries of their own. In medicine, for instance, Ibn Sina, known in the West as Avicenna, wrote the Canon of Medicine, which synthesized Greek knowledge with observations from the Islamic world. This became a reference textbook in Europe for centuries. In mathematics, scholars like Al-Khwarizmi developed algebra and refined number systems inherited from India and Greece, while Muslim astronomers improved Ptolemaic models and built precise instruments. Philosophy and logic flourished too. Muslim thinkers like Al-Farabi and Averroes not only preserved Aristotle's works, but also offered interpretations that would influence European scholasticism. Interestingly, much of this knowledge reached Europe centuries later, mainly through Spain and Sicily. In the 12th century, European scholars flocked to Toledo, a city where Muslims, Jews, and Christians coexisted and shared knowledge. Here, Arabic texts were translated into Latin, reintroducing Europe to Greek philosophy, science, and medicine. Without the efforts of Muslim scholars, the Renaissance might have been delayed or even reshaped entirely. What is remarkable is the spirit behind this preservation. Knowledge was valued above all. Muslims believed learning was a divine pursuit. They collected manuscripts from every corner of the known world, from Byzantine libraries to Indian texts. They respected and built upon the wisdom of other cultures. In a time when much of the world had forgotten, the Islamic civilization became a beacon of intellectual light. So, the next time you marvel at the advancements of Renaissance Europe, remember that this light had traveled a long journey. It passed through the hands of scholars who lived centuries before, who worked tirelessly to ensure that human knowledge survived the darkness. The story of Muslims preserving Greek knowledge is not just about books and texts. It's about curiosity, respect for learning, and the timeless human quest to understand the world. From Aristotle's philosophy to Hippocrates' medicine, from algebra to astronomy, the contributions of Muslim scholars remind us that knowledge is a shared heritage. And in an era of fragmentation, their story teaches us that preserving, respecting, and sharing wisdom can illuminate even the darkest ages. This is the legacy of the Islamic Golden Age, a torch passed through time, igniting the Renaissance and shaping the modern world. The light of knowledge, once almost lost, continues to shine because of their vision.